All right.
You go ahead,
Let me
Leslie.
just go then.
I'm, I'm here all day. What should we do next?
The
Hold on.
Iranian senior Iranian officials said yesterday, after it was reported that talks had taken place on Iraq with the US, that there was no specific outcome was achieved at the meeting. Would you agree with that? I mean, was it just a discussion about that you're going to cooperate with Iran on this, or what specific was discussed? They also said then that they would refer to the capitals. What exactly was referred, and what is the timetable now, or how things, where did you leave it, where did you agree that things would move forward?
Well, as we noted, or we released last night, but let me reiterate for all of you here, Deputy Secretary Burns met briefly with Iranians on the margins of the P5+1 meeting in Vienna, separate from the trilateral meeting. It was a brief on the margins. It was separate from the discussions and the negotiations that are ongoing. They discussed the need to support inclusivity in Iraq and the need to refrain from pressing a sectarian agenda. In terms of where we go from here, we're open to continuing our engagement with the Iranians, just as we are engaging with other regional players on the threat posed by ISIL in Iraq. It is likely those discussions would happen at a lower level, and we don't expect further conversations with Iran on this issue in Vienna. Those talks will focus on the nuclear issue for the remainder of the week.
So you don't expect more conversations with the Iranians on Iraq in Vienna?
Correct.
Well, where would they take place? Where would the next ones take place?
Well,
and
again,
how soon?
I would caution anyone from overly formalizing what this is. We're engaging with a range of countries in the region who are concerned about the stability of Iraq and the impact on the region. That's what this was, briefly on the margins. What it will mean moving forward, I think, is yet to be determined, but it's not the launch of a formal process or anything along those lines.
How brief was brief?
I don't have a number of specific minutes for you, but I think
Well,
the
we're
emphasis
talking
on that...
half an hour, less than half an hour?
I don't have a specific number of minutes. The reason we portrayed that... The reason I used that term is because obviously there were several hours of meetings on the nuclear issue, and this was just simply on the sidelines of that.
Maybe you can after you answer the question of who he talked to.
Yeah. Who was available on the Iranian side? Thank
I
you.
don't have details to share on that front.
Was it like a pull-aside standing up, or did they like sit down at a table or something? It just goes to whether this is brief, like it's an encounter in a hallway and it lasted 30 seconds, or it was they sat down at a table and talked for 5 minutes.
I don't have atmospherics for you. I understand your question. I'll see if there's more we can share.
I mean, I think it goes to the
Let's
point
just
of whether this was a serious attempt to talk about Iraq, or whether it was just, hey, we've got to talk about Iraq. Okay, we'll do that sometime.
Well,
I mean,
obviously,
was this a serious attempt to talk about Iraq between the Iranian and the U.S. sides?
We wouldn't have even brought it up as an issue if we didn't, if it wasn't a serious attempt, Joe. But I don't have the number of minutes or anything along those lines.
So, if it was a serious attempt, why is there no forward-looking idea of when you might next meet again? I can understand that you wanted to keep it separate from the nuclear talks that are going on in Vienna, but why are you not able to say, okay, we've said that we will meet again in a week or 2 weeks without even a specific date?
Because we don't see a benefit in laying that out. We're going to engage with a range of countries in the region who have a concern about the threat. But again, this is not a launch of a formal process. I mentioned it will be at a lower level, and I don't have anything to announce or predict for you in terms of how that engagement will continue, if it will continue.
Was this yesterday or today?
Where's the sense
Was
of
this
urgency?
today?
Yesterday.
This was yesterday. And